Hi, this is Annie Fox with Family Confidential, Secrets of Successful Parenting. My guest today is Tiffany Shlain. Honored by Newsweek as one of the women shaping the 21st century and singled out by NPR on their list of best commencement speeches ever, Tiffany Shlain is a filmmaker, founder of the Webby Awards, author, and speaker whose work explores navigating our connected world and thoughts on how to shape our future. Hi, Tiffany. Welcome to Family Confidential.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Happy to talk to you.
Oh, yes, likewise. You sent me an email a while ago about your Technology Shabbat thing, and I thought, okay, I'm feeling a little overplugged in here. For those listeners who don't know the term Shabbat, it means Sabbath or a day of rest, a day away from technology. Sounded pretty good to me, and so I tried it, and wow. I loved not logging in for an entire 24 hours. So I wanted to ask you, because I know you've done this with your family for a while now, how you got the idea for the need for this, and how your family is doing with it.
Well, we're on our 5th year of doing it. So every week we take one day off of all screens, and I love it. It's probably the best thing I've ever done in my life. And it came from kind of a hard period for my family where my father was dying. And it just, when you are with someone that's really ill and they have just one good hour a day, you want to be present. And so we would just turn off our phones when we were with him. And I just realized how much I wanted more presentness in my family life. And it just wasn't feeling right how much everyone was on the screens. So my husband and children, we did it as a group. And my children now are 5 and 11. A lot of people want to know that. And it's the best day of the week. It's just like, I feel like it, and there is this thing about it happening every week that it grounds us and refocuses everybody. And it's just this deliciously long day that everyone's just hanging and no one's trying to get someone off of a screen. And I kind of look forward to it every week as much as I love to work, and I love what I do, and I love being online. So it's not like I just don't like it too much. And I feel like it has kind of reset me, and each week it does that.
Now, you say you started this 5 years ago, which, if I do my math right, your little one was a year old at that time, probably wasn't doing too much social media stuff at that time.
She was just, she was we're just starting our 5th year. Yeah.
And your other one was 6.
Yeah, so, but there was TV. I mean, listen, Saturday morning cartoons were a big thing in my house.
Right.
And also just the cell phones, and, the screens go everywhere, and kids want to grab your parents' phone. And so basically for Friday night for Shabbat, we're Jewish, but we're not religious, but we do Shabbat every Friday. We say the blessings, we turn off the screens, and, and I hear when Odessa talks about it with her friends now, because she's 11, she's a tween, if I can use that word.
Yeah, you can, officially.
She said it really relieves her. She said, I don't feel like I need to be doing anything else. And you don't need to be getting back to anyone else. It's like you're holding people away from who the people are right in front of you. And I just came back from a week vacation where I wasn't online. And it was like, no one is going to affect this week. I'm not letting the thousands of people I normally let in to influence my moods, whether with good things or exciting things or stressful things or bad things, or, and so it's like you get more, I feel like I have more kind of control with my peacefulness for a day, or just with myself, just to think my own thoughts or to hear my children's thoughts, or like there's nothing distracting me.
It's really interesting when you say that. You say I have more control over who I let in, who and what I let in, and how it affects my moods. I think because of the addictive nature of this online connection we have, I'm often I kind of lose sight of how much control I have. It's like, the next thing to check, the next link to follow, the next, and then I have an idea and I want to look something up, and it's totally endless. And so you can lose yourself so easily down the rabbit hole and forget that, wait a minute, I can close this thing. I can get up and go for a walk and do something else.
Well, I think we're working on an episode about social media right now, and you know that saying that you're the combination of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't. I like it.
But that you're so influenced by the people that you're around, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just nature. We're all influenced by each other, and that if you extrapolate that out to social media, you're very influenced on who you follow and who you're letting into your thoughts. I mean, sometimes if I check a news feed, the last one I saw will enter into my dreams. Suddenly that person's in my dreams. I'm like, why am I dreaming about that person I vaguely know that I went to school with in 5th grade or whatever? Mm-hmm. And I've spent a lot of real conscious effort in the last couple of years to really curate my feed. Like, who you can still be friends with someone, but you don't need to follow their every moment. And I'm not as curated on Twitter. I like leaving it a little bit more open because it's to me more random. I like the randomness of it. Mm-hmm. But Facebook, I'm very curated. And I think people need to understand that they have the power, because all these people are influencing you. Mm-hmm. And, you know, somebody on my team sent this thing around called Single Tab Thursday about just like focusing on one thing. And of course, I love the kind of stream of consciousness nature that we finally created our work environment, because our mind wants to roam around, and we've suddenly created this interface for a lot of roaming. But the downfall of that is, not being as purposeful.
Yeah.
And so I'm very interested in people feeling empowered to curate who they follow. And you know, the whole uproar over the Facebook experiment. Mm-hmm. What did you think about that?
Well, you know, I'm thinking about Facebook in general when I think about that stuff. And I'm thinking about how we just need these wake-up calls. I mean, for you to say in your family, for example, that, okay, sun's going down Friday night, and we are consciously doing this. There's no push-pull anymore, because we've made it a routine. It's part of what we do, like brushing our teeth before we go to bed. And so when you make the space for that routine and ritual, there is no inner conflict.
Yes, that's right. I need that, and I kind of understood that I needed that. And even, you know, you deal with a lot of teenagers, and you know, my daughter was graduating from 5th grade, and everyone was getting their kids' cell phones. And I am a working mom, so she is going to be walking to school by herself with her friends, but I would like a text when she arrives. And so, but I went through a lot of inner conflict about the cell phone, because she reads like 4 hours a day, and she's very in her imagination and her mind, and I didn't want to ruin that. And, you know, I think with Facebook, you know, we were just talking about it with my film team. When you're following too many other feeds, you suddenly get lost in other people's moments, and it doesn't make you feel good. Actually, it's not.
Yeah, it doesn't make you feel good, and yet again, there's that addictive quality that. Well, let me just, I'll look one more. It's as if we've forgotten really that we are separate from this stuff because we're so immersed in it. So I'm thinking, because most of my listeners or viewers at this point are parents of tweens and teens, can imagine instituting something like a Technology Shabbat cold turkey at this point in their lives, when they are so inculcated with this digital connection to their peers, and how important it is to our kids to get that kind of sense of tribe from their peers. I hope you can offer some practical, just like you're going to get pushback from your kids. Let's get realistic.
I just don't buy it. I just rewatched Louis C.K.'s brilliant Conan O'Brien interview about cell phones and teenagers. And everyone should watch it. Anyone that thinks that they can't do it with their kids as a teenager, watch this 5-minute comedy bit that's so truthful that it's like, you're the parent. That's your role right now, is you're trying to institute a moral compass. And if you say as a family, you know what, you're a teenager, I've got a lot of work to do, but we are going to, as a family, commit to being present one day a week, and you're going to survive. And I guess I just like my kids won't like it.
They may not, but I love the way you're taking a leadership role in
Well,
this.
I mean, people said that when I would just started to do it.
Yeah.
I guess I just feel like people need to rise up a little bit, and when I say it's the best thing I've ever done as a parent or as a person or as a mother, because it's about me too. It's not just the teenagers.
Right.
I mean, people are always bitching about their kids, but the kids are like, my parents are always on the phone. We actually did an episode, any of your listeners should watch. There's 2 episodes from The Future Starts Here that I think you'll find really interesting. One is called Technology Shabbat, and it's my 5-minute film, exactly what we do, why we do it. There's neuroscience on what too much technology does in your brain in there, but the addiction stuff. The other episode's called Tech Etiquette, and kids feel like their parents are just as distracted as the parents feel by the kids. Yeah. So parenting is modeling behavior. So if you're like, oh, they're not going to want to do it, well, that's just, I guess it's a ridiculous place to start from, because in many ways, I really hope and believe that my children, it's so much a part of my 11-year-old's identity now and she says to people, this is what we do.
This is what we do. And she values the time.
Yeah.
And so she would not let herself be influenced by peers who might say, that's a dumb thing to do, or, oh, come on, why don't you sneak it, or something like that. She values the time because you have made it an oasis.
Well, that's right. And I guess that's the advice, I'd say, is make it a fun day. And we do make it a fun day, and we save things that you wouldn't normally do if you're online for that day. And we're usually outdoors, or we're together, or we're playing old-fashioned games that are, I don't know, it's an opportunity to do a lot of things you don't do when you constantly have a screen.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome, and I hope the people who are listening to you will take inspiration from it, because we could all use a break. And if 24 hours seems like too much, then start slower. Start with an afternoon between 12 and 4. This is, as a family, this is what we're going to do. And I want parents to think take the point of view, this is not a punishment, because maybe some kids might think that. What did I do wrong? How come you're taking this away from me? No, this is a gift.
It's a gift. And I think just coming back from a vacation where no one was online for a week, and it's just important to put your mind in a different mind space. Like, it's good for your brain to daydream, to, so much creativity comes from letting your mind wander and not have so much input. We're doing another episode called A Case for Dreaming, which is all about the neuroscience of, there's been a lot of studies. How do you get, more creative ideas? Go for a walk, travel, listen to music. There's all these things that are basically letting you wander in your mind. And if you're constantly looking at a screen and just input, you never give your mind space to daydream and to just put your mind. So if you position it to your children, listen, this is a family experiment we're going to all do together. Mm-hmm. It's good for your brain. It's good for your creativity. It's good for your soul, your sense of, and then the other thing, at the end of the technology, you kind of reappreciate technology in this incredible way when the sun goes down, or when you go back online, of how marvelous, I've got a supercomputer in my hands. I can look up any thought and link to any idea and contact any person I'm thinking of. And it kind of has this dual benefit of both, letting you be present, wander a bit in your mind, and then reappreciate technology. And
while you're wandering, you're appreciating these lovely people who nurture you and support you in so many ways. So we're talking about these episodes. Let's let our listeners in on what it is we're talking about. I know that last season you did a series for AOL, and congratulations, because you now have a second season of it coming up. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, it's called The Future Starts Here, and season 1 was 8 5-minute episodes about everything from technology Shabbats to creativity to tech etiquette to a case for optimism, all sorts of things. And then, and we were very excited. It was watched. There was over 20 million views, and we been renewed for a second season. And in season 2, which premieres October 23rd, we're tackling social media and dreaming and parenting. We actually have an episode. We're trying to still figure out the title, but we're thinking the sociology of parentology, and it's going to be all about the history of different trends of parenting and what is it like to parent today, and what can we learn from the past, and what do we need to refine in our own compass on discernment about all these different trends happening with parenting. And then we're also working another film that I think your listeners would be interested in that, we did the Science of Character, which you helped us on. We're so grateful for your counsel.
Oh, my pleasure.
And that was an 8-minute film we premiered this year on what we called Character Day, which we had over 1,500 schools and organizations around the world premiere the film and talk about character development. And next year we're going to do Character Day, we think in the fall, to kind of kick off the school year. And we have a new film we're working on called The 21st Century Brain. And it's all about what skills do you need to flourish in the 21st century, which of course is great for parents to watch because we're all thinking about how can we best prepare our children for this world. So it'll explore that also.
And would you say these episodes are good for parents and kids to watch together?
Oh, yeah. The Technology Shabbat and the Tech Etiquette one. Yeah. Also Motherhood Remixed. Yeah. I mean, we definitely have had viewers of all ages enjoy them. I'm always interested in intergenerational conversations. We have a lot of great interns here that every summer we have a new group of interns, and we love different age interns who give me lots of insights to teenagers and college students. I'm always interested in that, different perspective. I mean, that's what's interesting, right?
And soon your 11-year-old will cross over into that space herself, and you'll have some firsthand at home, under the same roof experiences with teens.
It's fascinating. Yeah. I mean,
it is fascinating.
Yeah.
Really good time. Okay, well, we're about to wrap up, Tiffany. I want to thank you for spending some of your busy day with us. And I also want to give our listeners an opportunity to find out more about your work. Where can they go?
They can go to TiffanyShlain.com, and that's just SHLAIN, or themoxyinstitute.org. If you just look up Tiffany Shlain Films, and Facebook, we have a really active Tiffany Shlain Films, and I'm on Twitter where I see you a lot. And also I do a quarterly newsletter called Breakfast at Tiffany's, where I feature a lot of books and people and websites and things I think are interesting that I want to share.
This is great. Thanks again, and I'm especially grateful for you turning me on to Technology Shabbat, and I hope this turns the lights out on the screens for a lot of families this coming week. Who knows?
That would be great. Okay, and we actually have a lot of, on our site, we have kind of deeper how-tos. We have a fun infographic on ways to do it, lists to make, and all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Thanks again. Take care, Tiffany.
This is Annie Fox for Family Confidential. To learn more about my work with tweens, teens, and parents, visit anniefox.com, where you can check out my book, Teaching Kids to Be Good People, Progressive Parenting for the 21st Century.
Hope you tune in next week when my guest will be Michelle Coxford, children's librarian and reading specialist. Michelle and I will talk about how to make your child into a lifelong reader and lover of books.
Until then, happy parenting.